Hey, what's up my writing friends? Welcome back to my AuthorTube channel. I am Autumn Ashley and today I am bringing you a brand new writing vlog. We're gonna hop back in time just a little bit and I'll show you some clips leading up to today. I had planned on the video to just be one day, like a day in my life vlog, and it is still, but I did end up tacking on another day, so it's 2 days in my life. I felt like the first day was a really good representation of pretty much how my days in May had gone, even though it was the beginning of June, since May was just a very rough month for me. Last week and the first couple of clips that you guys are going to see, you can see how I had plans for one thing, but then sometimes things didn't quite work out that way and I had to adjust my day and just roll with it. So enjoy and I will see you in the next clip. We are back with wet, clean hair and you can't see me. I've got my coffee. I have my breakfast. Since it's a little bit later in the morning, my breakfast just consists of a piece of toast with peanut butter and honey. So I'm gonna munch on this. This is like perfect and typical of my life. What I wanted to do is sit down and talk to you guys about what the game plan was going to be for today. So right before I hopped into the shower, I had to do a refill request for one of my prescriptions. Then when I came out of the shower, I had a call from the pharmacy to say that my insurance was denied. I have to figure out why, what's going on with that, and yeah, try to adult that. So I need to figure out where to go to figure out what the issue is with that. In addition to still wanting to do everything else that I had planned for today. I wanted to share that anyways because it's just typical. It's a little past 10 now. I'm going to meet with my critique partner at 11. I need to finish listening to her talk about her story. Last month, I believe it was last month, her and I had met and we talked about my story, but we wanted to meet up a little bit later so she could tell me a little bit more about her story. I'm gonna meet with her and hopefully I can get this whole prescription thing fixed by the time I have to hop on the call with her because I do have a good bit of stuff that I want to do today. Things like tidy up the house. Luckily, my partner vacuumed. I don't think they mopped, so I will have to mop at some point in today. Go through and clean the kitchen, put the dishes away, and all that fun adult life stuff. I also need to edit a video that is supposed to be going up tomorrow, which will be June 3rd. So by the time you're seeing this video, that video should have been last week's video. Editing a video takes me so long. It literally takes me 6 to 8 hours to edit a video. We've gotten a little bit faster at it. It really just kind of depends on what video it is, if it's just like a sit down update video or if it's a vlog with multiple clips. And then later tonight at 8 p.m. I am going to be meeting with some of my writing friends. We're going to do a wine and write night. Hopefully we'll be on for more than a couple of hours so I can work on my writing for a couple of hours. I did talk with my critique partner yesterday. We set some goals and I want to talk to you guys about those goals. Even though her and I have set them between her and I want to share those with you guys because I feel like it's important to the story and my writing as a whole. This was something I wanted to do yesterday, but I did not get a chance to do this yesterday. I want to listen to another lecture from Brandon Sanderson. I'm on the sixth lecture, and I think that's the second part of his world building lectures. If I can, I would like to watch those, and they're usually about an hour, but honestly it takes me probably closer to 2 hours because I stop it, rewind, make sure I heard it correctly, I write stuff down, so it takes me a little bit longer to actually work on that. That's the game plan for today. If I don't get to Brandon Sanderson's lecture today, I can always do that tomorrow, but that was something I would like to get done. Let me deal with the whole prescription nonsense thing. Let me concentrate on that and I will see you guys in a bit.
Yeah, I got a little distracted because I literally,
I just finished meeting with my critique partner. Her and we talked a lot more about her story and working through the first few chapters of it. I wanted to talk to you guys about those goals that my critique partner and I decided to set. Something that we're going to try for the month of June and see how that goes. We picked a weekly goal and then we're going to meet next Wednesday. We're going to see how well we did with that goal and then we'll meet every Wednesday to see if we achieved those goals, how we're feeling about the story, if we hit any roadblocks, and we'll work through everything together. I wanted to share these short-term goals with you guys. We did end up setting long-term goals. I don't want to share those quite yet in this video because I do quarterly goal videos and we talk about everything then. So I'm going to save the long-term goals for that video. Since I'm not keeping track of word counts for my first draft, I set a goal for every week in June. I want to work on my story for at least 4 hours or spend at least 3 days working on my story. If I'm not able to do as long of a time, like working towards the 4 hours, I have to write at least 3 days a week. So I can sit down and do one 30-minute writing session for one day and then do another 30 minutes for the second day, and then the third day, do another 30 minutes. So I'm going to see which one works best for me. And the reason I wanted to do a time goal, so whether hourly or 3 days a week, I wanted to set this goal since, May was kind of a rough month. I hit the writing slump and I got sick and all of those negative things that happened. I didn't want to just jump in and say, I need to get 5,000 words this week. I need to make sure I get through Act 1. I didn't want to go about it that way because I felt like that would have been a great way to put myself back into a writing slump. So I figured if we started with a time goal and we see how that goes with the month of June and see the progress that I've made with doing time goals, we'll see how that sets me up for July. I wanted to do this because I need to get into a better routine with my writing. I did talk about this in last week's video, so I won't talk about it too much more, but that was something that her and we wanted to set those goals so we can keep moving forward with our story. Just a quick little mini update. I ended up figuring out what was wrong with my whole prescription situation, so that was covered. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and we have yet to do any writing. So that's pretty much how my days off go, but I am hungry now. I guess we'll go find food. I think I'm just gonna make some noodles.
Just another sunny day in Southern California. It's where the people came to play. Don't let
The cook time on the noodles, it says 9 minutes, but I feel like I'm gonna be lied to because it's still boiling. There's no noodles in there yet. I'm assuming I'm supposed to cook it kind of like rice. How have you been? How's it going? Let me know how your writing is going. If you've hit any milestones, let me know all of the things. I know I've talked about some of the things that I want to do. Currently I'm making lunch. It's 1:30. I thought I was gonna do a check-in a little bit later, but I figured while my food was cooking, I might as well just, talk some more. They're still doing yard work out there. That's just bizarre. I don't know how much yard there possibly is out there for them to do. So I think later today when I meet with my writing friends to do some writing, I know I had talked earlier where I was hoping to get at least 2 hours of writing done today. And I do still think I'm going to be able to get at least 2 hours of writing done. I'll probably go till midnight, honestly. That's usually about what happens. The window of writing slowly gets smaller and smaller as the day continues. I am on chapter 4, but I want to read up on that chapter. It was a scene that I wrote back in February when I was getting a feel for the story and I was doing a little bit of the pantsing. And I do like this scene. I need to refresh on where I wanted the story to go next for chapter 5. I want to read through chapter 4 and start on chapter 5. I really want to make some good progress with chapter 5 too, figure out where I want that story to go. I know my pacing is off in the story and that's fine for now with the first draft. I literally got up to move and they stopped with the whole lawn mowing situation. So I guess I'll just continue to sit here. When I talked with my critique partner, it really helped inspire me and helped motivate me, and I'm so glad I'm literally done. I literally cannot with this day. When I met with my critique partner yesterday and earlier today, it really has helped motivate me, and I love talking about these stories. Not only my stories, but her stories too, because it helps get me into that flow. So tonight, my intentions are to finish reading through that 4th chapter, start working on chapter 5, and I really need to start making some really good progress with this story, and that needs to start with actually sitting down to write. I will eat my noodles, walk around a little bit more, stretch my legs, and check in with you guys in a bit. It is 4:30. We are literally about to get typical afternoon showers. I just remembered that I had a package I have to go get from the leasing office, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now before it downpours with rain. I will give you guys the update when I get back.
You look at me like I'm crazy. when I shut my feelings out.
I just got back in and it's starting to rain. I'm so happy that I was able to get it. I have a little bit of work done on that video that I was talking to you guys about. I also took a little bit of a nap. I'm awake, I'm here, we're ready to make some more progress. It's almost 5 o'clock now. I do have a lot of work that I have to get done and I have not really been very productive today, but this is like a typical day for me lately where there's a whole bunch of other things that have been happening and that they pop up that I have to deal with and I don't quite make it to everything on my list, which is why I've slowly started to not put as much work on each day, so then it feels like I have to like tack it on to the next day. Everything that's on my list is still doable. I just think I'll have to be a little more efficient with the rest of everything that I'm going to be doing for today, probably until thunder. Yep, afternoon showers in South Georgia. There you go. That's it right there, folks. I think I'm going to be working on editing this video until I meet with my writing friends at 8 p.m. tonight. Probably about 3 hours worth of work. It is 9 o'clock on the same day. A lot's happened, but not a lot has happened. I have not yet finished editing that video. I told you guys it was gonna take forever, but I did end up having supper and I guess we're having internet issues, so we've been trying to deal with that too. But right now I am writing with my 4 other writing friends. I am currently going to read through chapter 4, remember where I wanted the story to go, and hopefully start chapter 5 now. We have about 25 minutes left of this sprint, so I'm gonna see how much I can get done. I have read through chapter 4. And I do like this chapter. I don't like this angle though. I ended up copy and pasting chapter 4 from one of my previous scenes that I wrote when I was pantsing back in February. I like this scene, so I just had to change a little bit. This is very typical of a fantasy novel, but just let me have my moment. My characters are entering into a tavern, and originally I had this tavern having a magical barrier around it. I wanted there to be a magical barrier, and this is what triggered an alarm to the higher powers, the queen and the guards and everything, that there was somebody with magic who entered into the tavern. I wanted that there's to be some type of reaction to a god and somebody using magic in the presence of normal everyday people, but I felt like it was a plot hole. And the reason I thought that it was a plot hole is because my main character now has magic within her, but it didn't make sense if the 2 people walked into the tavern and they both had the magic, that only one person was going to feel the effects of like this barrier or have a reaction to that magical protection barrier. Regardless of if the one character who actually has the magic and they gifted some magic to somebody else, they would both still be affected the same way. As I was sitting here and I was rereading that scene and I was trying to add a little bit more, edit it and fix it up a little bit, I thought of a different way for that alarm to be triggered. There are 2 ways that I think that I could do this. One of the 2 characters grabs a drink or something and drinks the drink, but the drink is spiked with something that reacts with the magic, and that's how they're able to single out the people who have magic. A good example of what I'm thinking is in the Vampire Diaries, when the vampires will drink something and it has Ravane in it and they have a reaction to it. I was thinking maybe something like that. I was also thinking there are people who catch on to how people present themselves. They can observe and maybe they recognize that there's somebody with magic within just by the way that they act or something. I feel like I like the first one better. I know you don't know a whole lot about my physical story, but I'm trying to work through this plot hole, and I felt like this was something good to talk about. Starting in chapter 5, I read through one of the scenes that I wrote before, and I like the scene. I think I'm only going to copy and paste certain parts of that scene that I wrote back in February or March. I will add a little bit more to that chapter 5 to develop it, to shape it. I wanted to give you guys a last little mini update about how my day actually went. So for my to-do list, I was able to clean my house to the best that I possibly could. I did end up finishing editing that video, although that did take me a very long time to finish editing that video. I met with my girls and I was able to do 2 sprints. We did one 30-minute sprint and the next sprint was a 35-minute sprint. And the final one on this list was listening to Brandon Sanderson's lecture, the 6th one. Unfortunately, I did not get to it on this day, but the next day in the morning, I jumped right on and it was one of the first things that I did. We are gonna cross it off the list, but I'm just going to change the color so we know that I did accomplish it, but not necessarily on this day. Hey guys, it's a few days later. It is Wednesday, June 8th. I didn't end up finishing last week vlogging or anything. I did a lot of work that I want to talk to you guys about and give you a little bit of a recap of what I was working on, as well as how I'm doing with these short-term goals. I did talk about meeting with my critique partner last Wednesday, and last Wednesday we had created short-term goals, medium-term goals, and then a long-term goal. So my short-term goal for 1 week, I want to write for 4 hours. It could be spread out throughout the week doing writing sprints, or for at least 3 days, whichever one comes first. I don't know if we're gonna do Wednesday to Wednesday since we are planning on meeting up every Wednesday in June. That's what I'm assuming our week-to-week basis is going to be from one Wednesday to the next Wednesday. I did end up writing for 3 days. I hit my weekly goal. This is how I'm going to track it for the month of June. If I end up liking how I'm doing this tracking, I can always keep it. How I did my little daily writing tracker short-term goal thing. The day that I wrote, how long my sprint was, and what I accomplished in those sprints. June 2nd, I wrote. I did one 35-minute sprint, one 30-minute sprint, and I was able to finish chapter 4. The next day that I wrote was June 4th. And June 4th, I did 2 sprints. One, I did a 22-minute sprint, and I did a 16-minute sprint. In those 2 sprints, I started chapter 5, and I continued to work through chapter 5. The 3rd day, I ended up writing on June 5th. I did 2 writing sprints. I did one 24-minute sprint and one 15-minute sprint, and I continued working through chapter 5. I was able to accomplish my goal. So I did write 3 days. Each of those days I did 2 20-ish minute sprints and I worked through basically a chapter and a half. In that chapter and a half, I finished writing chapter 4 and I worked on chapter 5. Where we are at now, I am still on chapter 5. But I do want to talk about what I was working on in chapter 4 and chapter 5. In chapter 4, my main character has some interactions with the 2 other secondary characters. One of the secondary characters knows about the other one, but the other secondary character does not know about the other guy. So her and the character, which is the secondary character that gave her the magic, the 2 of them are trying to be somewhat normal. Then at the end of chapter 4, everything just explodes and it's not normal. That's a really terrible description of what happened, but it's still a very rough story. There's still a lot of questions that I need to answer myself. And then chapter 5, we are going to have the 2 secondary characters meet for the first time under interesting circumstances. One of them has been poisoned, so the other one, along with Norel, are trying to save this character. And the reason that the other secondary character goes along with it is his relationship with my main character. That's what we are currently working on in chapter 5. And today I am going to do a little bit of writing. It's almost 6 p.m. And the reason I started a little bit later today is because I worked all night and I woke up at like 4:30. So to me, I've only been up for an hour and a half, even though, you know, the rest of the world or the rest of the East Coast is slowly starting to wind down. And chapter 5, I have written it from scratch. It's a new scene. It's a new part of the story that I did not dabble in when I was doing the pantsing, trying to get familiar with the story. We are currently trying to get out of a tight situation. We're going to get a little bit more answers as to like what exactly the magic that he gave her, what exactly it is, who he is, because up until this point, we've known that he's somebody who clearly has magic, who exactly he is, and a little bit about his agenda as to why he made this deal with my main character. What benefit is it to him? I want his story to parallel Norel's, so how she's out searching for her brother. I do want him parallel her in a way where he is looking for somebody too. So that's where we're at. Hopefully I can finish chapter 5 tonight. I want to do a sprint tonight. After I finish talking to you and giving you the update. And I think I'll just do a 25 minute sprint and see where we can go. This writing sprint is going to go towards next week's goal, my short-term goal that I'm gonna meet up with my critique partner and we're gonna talk about. Sprint time. I'll see you in a bit. Go me. Hooray! First sprint is done. First 24-minute sprint. So my characters, they're trying to get out of that tight situation that they're kind of in. I wanted to show a little bit of the magic that my main character was given and to show that she doesn't quite have control and she doesn't quite know what the magic is and what all it can do. As I was writing, I thought of a interesting way to explain what her magic that she acquired from the secondary character, a little bit of what it is. I think I wrote about a page. It was a little bit more than a page. It was about a page and a half, which literally means nothing to anybody. 12 times New Roman and double spaced. There we go. When the characters were trying to escape and I was trying to figure out how exactly this was gonna happen, I was sitting and I was like, you know what? We don't have to spend 30 minutes trying to figure out how exactly they're going to escape. I know they want to escape. I know that I want them to escape out of a window. So draft one, that's what they did, using the sheets and the blankets. So my point being, it's obviously going to be a little bit more technical than that. It's not just going to, there's a glare. The sun is kicking my ass today. What the hell? Well, I'm gonna do the rest of my little update right here. For the first draft, we are just focusing on telling myself the story. I don't need to know the whole ins and outs of exactly how, for example, they're going to escape. Honestly, it's probably gonna change how I want them to escape out the window using blankets tied together. That's a little stupid. It's a little It got the point across where I want my characters to escape somehow. I need them to get out of this building in a certain way that's discreet. In later drafts, I can beef it up, maybe talk with my critique partner, maybe even get beta reader feedback. It's supper time now. I have got to go. I'm on kitchen duty tonight. I have to go figure out what we need for supper. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel and you want to be part of my writing journey, please be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.